just remember, you're living life on purpose. It's not what's happening to you, it's what's happening for you to become the stronger you.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Lyn-Dee Eldridge. Previously, episode 333 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been 2 years, 8 months, 21 hours, 30 minutes since we last spoke.
I share with everybody that I'm real, and as I grow, we all grow together. If I can get through this, you can get through this. Life is so hard, and medication isn't the answer.
That was then. This is now. How are you doing, my friend?
I have no complaints. Life is good, and I'm just moving forward.
Well, it is such a great pleasure to have you back on the podcast. Or should I say forward on the podcast?
Thank you. And it's so wonderful to be back here. Thank you for the invite.
Now, when we spoke, it was your 56th birthday.
Oh, my goodness.
On that day.
Wow.
I'm guessing you're 58 now.
Yeah, that is correct. Unless you're speaking to me and I'm in heaven.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that you sound younger than when we first spoke.
I like that. That means that life is good to me, that whatever the obstacles were in my life or are in my life, that I understand how to manage them and to move forward to keep me youthful.
Is that what's been going on?
Sure. Yeah. In the last 2 years, I've had a major tornado come through my life, became a caretaker of my mom. Found out I had the breast cancer. I'm a year and a half breast cancer free. I got divorced 3 weeks into radiation. And my mindset was always, what's the purpose? And that's how I live my life. So I feel younger because I don't have those burdens holding me down.
Oh, that's amazing. Would you say that Happiness Jungle was a good investment then for what you were about to encounter when we first spoke?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being able to go out there and make a difference in the world while making a living, that is my purpose for the journey. There's no question about it. So when anything comes into my life, good, bad, or indifferent, I don't look at it as, why is this happening? I look at it as, what is the purpose? What's the purpose, and how can I improve upon myself and help the world be a better place?
Now, one of the things you wrote on in your book, Tears of Fears Behind Closed Doors, is abuse.
Yes.
How did you encounter a scenario where you had to be divorced right 3 weeks before chemo?
Well, that Tears of Fears Behind Closed Doors was the story of my upbringing and my first marriage. And again, I look at what was the purpose of it all? Well, it's to help people get through their challenging times with domestic violence. And what was the greatest purpose? My daughter. My daughter was gifted to me by my first husband, right? So 20 years in between me getting a divorce, then I remarried again, only 14 years later to find myself divorced again. So Tears of Fear, domestic violence was not a part of my second marriage.
So is it that you would say that this in itself is going to be something that will help you help others as well?
Absolutely. I now have a new book that was released just a few months ago called Squeeze My Tatas. And the subtitle is You're Only One Mammogram Away from Knowing. So I was able to write the book in regards to my journey and how my healthy, happy mindset helped me heal to being cancer free. It's funny because I would have never been invited onto medical platforms, convention platforms, if it wasn't for the breast cancer. And now I speak at medical conventions and I help so many people through their health challenges. So again, live life on purpose. Realize that everything we go through, God never gives us more than we can handle. He just tests us a lot.
I definitely Congratulations for weathering that storm. It's amazing. I've had the opportunity to speak with you before and now speak with you again, and you carry such a high energy in terms of the happiness. Now, are you available still at happinessjungle.com?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Are you still sending hats? You sent me some amazing hats in a card.
Aw.
It was the most beautiful card I got. Like the hearts just fell out.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Now, one of the things you keep speaking about was being contagiously effective. How
Yes.
has that helped you, Lyn-Dee?
Well, amazing, because when you walk out and you could do and live in your purpose, for me, that's standing on stages of all different platforms, whether it's business, personal development, health. And when I'm speaking on stage and I'm looking at my audience, I'm watching them respond, because my audience does not fall asleep when I'm on stages.
Yeah, I'm sure
They
about that.
participate. They participate. And when my speaking engagement has been completed and they come over to me and let me know how much I've made a difference and an impact, there it is. There's the answer.
You said to me medication is not the answer when we first spoke.
And I still believe that.
It's intriguing, isn't it? Like you went
Yes.
out and lived that life where medication, and when you say medication is not the answer, like I interpret it to mean, yes, I'll take my medication, but it's not going to be the only thing that I apply to my life. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. When I say medicated, there are so many people out there that think that being medicated is the solution. Taking a Valium, taking one of those mind altering medications, and it's not. All that is hiding what is your challenge. It's not helping you grow, it's not helping you pull out the best you. And now we became dependent on it. You know, the pharmaceutical companies, that's the money that runs the world. And it's sad to me. It's very sad. We're putting our children on medications because we can't handle their different, challenges, their personalities, instead of trying to work through it. I remember when my daughter, who's now 34, who has granted me with 4 beautiful granddaughters, I remember during my first marriage when we were going through the challenges, right? She was born 6 years after my marriage. I got divorced, and we went through some really horrible, horrific times because she still, by law, had the right to go and be with the abuser, the biological father, right? Known as anus in the book Tears of Fears Behind Closed Doors. And the first thing when I would take her to psychologist or psychiatrist, because it was court ordered, and I always want to do the best for my daughter, what do you think the first thing they wanted to do to her?
Medication.
They wanted to medicate her. And I said, over my dead body, my daughter is going to learn that life is not easy. And you're going to be able to handle and get through every challenge and every obstacle. You're going to have to learn how to cry healthy. You're going to have to learn how to look at the world differently. Instead of looking at a victim, we are going to win it. And we won.
You said that when we spoke as well. You
Yeah.
said life isn't easy, but it can be fun.
Yes, and it can be happier. As I meet people, they're letting me know the drugs that they're on. And I look at them and I'm like, well, how do you feel after you take the drug? And they're like, well, sometimes I feel dopey and loopy and I want to take a nap. And other times I just feel more calmer. Well, why can't we teach ourselves how to be calmer? Why do we have to take a pill to pop in order to do that? Now we have addiction. And addiction goes into what? More addictions.
When you look back over the last couple of years to see the consistency you've applied by remaining happy, by making the decision to be happy, do you have any regrets?
Absolutely not. And depression is real. Every single person in the world, the rich, the middle class, and the poor, we all have a depression mechanism within us. We get sad. Sometimes we feel like, oh my gosh, there's a tornado and I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's how I was feeling in 2017. I became a caretaker of my very abusive mother. Later on in that year, I found out I had the breast cancer. 3 weeks into radiation, I got a divorce. And then I even had to go for a bankruptcy. So the normal response to this challenge, to this tornado, is putting the cover over your head And I refused. I said, no, 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 no. I'm not going to put the cover over my head. There's purpose and there's reasons for it. So, because of the purpose, well, I came out with a book that helps many called Squeeze My Tatas. And I am now creating a pillow that hugs people at night. So I have a solution for those that feel lonely at night, if they're not feeling well. Even married couples get my body pillow because after they do the wild thing, sometimes they don't like to touch after that. They separate. But one of the partners was like, oh, I just wish that I could feel the hug. And my pillow is serving that purpose.
That's so cool. Like last night, well, my wife is currently pregnant, but last night she was showing me a picture of the pillows that are both side padded.
Yes.
And I actually had the thought, right? I had the thought like, ooh, that'd be really cool to have just to turn and lay on, like not even being pregnant. Well, I'm glad. So where can we find that? On Happiness Jungle as well?
Yes. Well, as we speak, it is still in production in China.
Okay.
And it's going to probably take another 40 days for them to come to me because, of course, you know, when you're going through China into the States, but it is the most amazing thing. It's so amazing that I got this pillow right after I got the divorce.
Wow.
And all I wanted to do was feel hugged at night. I'm not high maintenance. And I was using this pillow for a year and a half, where about 4 months ago, I said, Lyn-Dee, why aren't you creating this pillow for others? Because it's a solution. And that's when the wheel turned. And now I have a wonderful sample of the pillow and I don't sleep without it. It's just, it's, and I even called up my former husband and I thanked him and he goes, you're thanking me? And I said, absolutely. Because if you didn't divorce me 3 weeks into my radiation, I would never have used a body pillow.
That's fascinating. Lyn, I want to interject now and say thank you, my friend. I want to say thank you for what you have done, which is being true to your own unique, real self. I'm like your podcast accountability partner, right? Calling back after a couple of years to see if you've stuck out, if you've been true to the thing you were most passionate about. And it's great to see that you have. So congratulations on that. In closing, Lyn, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Absolutely. Just remember, you're living life on purpose. It's not what's happening to you. It's what's happening for you to become the stronger, better, more delicious you. And you could always contact me.
Lyn-Dee Eldridge, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.